Welcome to French Conversations for Beginners. Learn everyday French from Janina, the language teacher, and Joelle from France.
Bonjour Joelle.
Bonjour Janina.
Ça va?
Ça va très bien et toi?
Oui, ça va. Okay, so today we're actually going to talk about getting a ride and meeting people. Yeah. So can you tell me about? Obviously, it's really common to walk around in France. In our city, Saint-Étienne, we have a tramway, which is really nice. It goes all over the city if we don't want to walk. It's close enough to the country and to maybe when we go to the big supermarket, we actually drive down there. And there's trains. We can take the train to Paris, no problem. But as far as if we didn't want to drive, what would be our options? If we didn't want to drive or take public transportation, what would be our options?
Taxi.
Okay. So, well, there's a couple ways to get a taxi. Can you call a taxi to your house?
Yeah.
You can do that. And you can also, in the bigger cities, of course, you have to wait in the taxi queue.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's now Uber in France.
Yeah.
Right? So you can call and someone
Yeah.
picks you up. All right. So in this situation, again, Joelle and I don't know each other. And he is I guess you'll be my Uber driver or my taxi driver. I'm not sure which one. You can be my taxi driver. Okay. And so I've called you in this case because we would have to do that in Saint-Étienne. We have to call a car. It's not a big enough city to where there's a huge taxi queue anywhere. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So you've arrived at my house.
Vous êtes Madame Klimas, n'est-ce pas?
Oui, c'est ça. Vous êtes le chauffeur?
Oui, je suis le chauffeur du taxi.
Pardon? Comment vous appelez-vous?
Je m'appelle Joelle.
Ah, Joelle. Joelle? Comme Joel? Comme aux États-Unis?
Oui, ici c'est Joelle.
Vous êtes français?
Oui, je suis auvergnat.
Oh, excusez-moi, je ne comprends pas. Je ne parle pas français.
Oh, ça fait rien, je ne parle pas anglais non plus.
Okay. All right. So let's break it down a bit in this dialogue. Of course, we use the vous form. You are Madame Klimas.
Vous êtes Madame Klimas? Klimas?
Aren't you?
N'est-ce pas?
Yes, that's right.
Oui, c'est ça.
You are the driver.
Vous êtes le chauffeur.
Okay. But to say taxi driver, it's le chauffeur de.
Le chauffeur de taxi.
Okay. And then you said, yes, I'm the taxi driver.
Oui, je suis le chauffeur.
Okay. And I said, excuse me?
Excusez-moi, pardon.
In this case, I said pardon. And I asked you what your name was formally.
Comment vous appelez-vous?
And then I said, Joelle, comme Joe, comme les États-Unis, like the United States, like my brother calls you all the time.
Yeah.
Joel.
Yeah, my name is Joelle.
And so I asked you, are you French?
Vous êtes français?
And you said, yes, I am.
Oui, je suis auvergnat.
Okay. You're going to have to explain that one in just a second. So then I said, oh, excuse me.
Oh, excusez-moi.
I don't understand.
Je ne comprends pas.
I don't speak French.
Je ne parle pas français.
Okay. And then you said, oh, don't worry about it.
Oh, ça ne fait rien.
I don't speak English.
Je ne parle pas anglais.
All right. So let's go back to your Auvergne. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You used an adjective, Auvergne, to describe yourself.
Yeah.
Which?
I'm from Auvergne, so I am auvergnat.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about Auvergne?
Auvergne is the nicest, the most beautiful region in France. That's in the center of France.
Okay.
It's the nicest countryside you can imagine.
Okay. So your family comes from there and they refer to themselves. Your father's family, your mother's family, of course, is?
Yeah. No, the whole my family is originally from Auvergne.
Originally, but then they moved to the bigger cities and so then why does your mom always say, you know, je suis de famille forestienne from the Le Forêt, Le Forêt. Is that an area of Auvergne? Is it, or just the tip?
No,
it's right next
just
to
at
it.
the border, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so they moved out and then later moved to Saint-Étienne, like a lot of people did, for jobs.
Yeah.
There were lots of coal. They're huge. Is that les sept collines?
Yeah.
The 7 hills or mountains. In this case, they're tiny mountains where there was a lot of coal mining there, so it brought a lot of people. That's where that city was built, right?
Yeah, a lot of mining and industries. Okay. Very, very renowned for gun factories.
So can I ask you a question? Is it common for people to talk about, you know, okay, we would stick with pretty much nationalities in the United States, right? People don't typically say, they might say, oh, I'm a New Yorker, but it's almost in a joking way. People don't say that sort of things. I'm a New Englander. It's not something people say, or I'm a Southerner. It's something people wouldn't use to describe themselves, but I hear it so commonly in France. So do people talk about like the region that they're from, and so it's very important?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we love our regions.
Yeah. All right.
People from Brittany, they say they are Breton.
Mm-hmm.
People from Normandy, they say they are Normand.
Mm-hmm.
Corsicans, of course, they say they are Corse.
Okay. All right. So that's an important distinction. So you might hear some words that will throw you off a little bit. Someone who's obviously French. So let's talk about French nationality. So if you say I'm French, you say?
Je suis français.
And I would say je suis française, which of course isn't true. And if you say I'm American?
Je suis américain.
And then I say je suis américaine.
Je suis américaine.
Yeah, the feminine, right? And so let's talk about some more common ones. So how would I say I am English?
Je suis anglais.
Okay, and I would say je suis anglaise, which of course I'm not. And being, how might one say that they are Chinese, for example?
Je suis chinois.
Okay. And I would say je suis chinoise. Okay, but so we won't get too into that today, but I did want to address a couple of those because they're very helpful and useful. But they're also, the masculine forms are also used to talk about languages, right? So, for example, the French language, the word is? The vocabulary word for the French language?
Le français.
The vocabulary word for the English language?
L'anglais.
The vocabulary word for Chinese?
Le chinois.
Okay. Spanish?
L'espagnol.
Okay. So that's, you use the masculine form to talk about languages. And we talked about some of those here in today. We did some of that in today's dialogue. So we talked about, you know, I'd said that I don't speak French. Je ne parle pas français. And you said I don't speak English.
Je ne parle pas anglais.
Okay. All right. And then we also got into a bit of meeting and greeting people, which I know we've done in other lessons, but it can never help to get really good at it. It's your first impression with people, right? So, how do you say I am something? I am.
Je suis.
Je suis. Je suis. That's really helpful. Je suis, from the verb. Je suis.
Être.
Yeah, to be. Okay, really helpful common verb. We use that a lot here. And so, I am, je suis. You are, formal.
Tu, oui, formal. Vous êtes.
Okay, but of course, we learn
when you're
when it's not formal.
Tu es.
Okay, but definitely at first I would say though I almost never use the formal forms. I shouldn't say never. I don't as much as I used to. It's certainly more helpful in the beginning to know vous, because it means one person, you, is formal, and it also means a group of people. So it's really helpful to know. So vous êtes, you are.
People are not offended when you're foreigner.
That not
formal.
using to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then you had, I want to talk about some of the vocabulary that we also used here. Okay. So we said, that's right.
C'est ça.
Driver.
Chauffeur.
Taxi driver.
Chauffeur de taxi.
Okay. New.
Nouveau.
No.
Non.
French.
Français.
English.
Anglais.
Not.
Non.
Not. Are you sure? So is it the ne pas? You say ne and then you've got yeah. And
Yeah, I am, je suis, I am not, je ne suis pas.
yeah, that was a challenge. That's a hard one. Definitely that pattern. And so then I speak.
Je parle.
I don't speak.
Je ne parle pas.
Okay. And the word nothing.
Rien.
Okay. All right. So, what are some other things that people should know? It's a formal situation about someone you don't know very well. I've called you to come pick me up, to give me a ride. You could be an Uber driver. You always get along really well. You're very friendly. You always get along really well with everyone who drives us places in Paris, no matter where we are. Do you use, you being French, do you use those vous, those formal forms with the taxi drivers too?
Yeah, I don't
You
know
always
them.
say vous? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right. And I know you guys make you tend to make a lot of small talk. You always make a joke. They always laugh at some point with you. What else would somebody need to know, do you think, talking to a taxi driver? So, like, how would you tell a taxi driver to stop?
Arrêtez-vous.
Okay, arrêtez-vous. Arrêtez-vous, that command form, arrêtez-vous. And how would you tell them to say, like, drop me off here?
Posez-moi ici.
Okay, posez-moi ici. And how would you tell them to keep going?
Continuez.
Continuez. All right. How would you tell them to turn?
Tournez.
Okay, turn left,
Tournez à gauche.
turn right.
Tournez à droite.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's very helpful language for meeting someone for the first time in a formal situation and getting a taxi driver. Okay. Thank you very much, Joelle. Merci beaucoup.
De rien, Nina.
À la prochaine.
À bientôt.
For more resources on learning and teaching languages, to get on our mailing list, or to get the workbook for this course, be sure to visit reallifelanguage.com/reallifelanguageblog. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave a rating.